days. With 30,000 plus 5-star reviews and an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, you can always count on Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Thanks for being here at 5. I'm Brett Bagansky. All right, we have a lot going on tonight. We have a follow-up to the fatal boat crash near Monroe Harbor. You're going to hear from some Chicago officials about staying safe this summer. Plus, this man in Rogers Park woke up to rats biting his face. And we're going to show you what other tenants say happened inside their apartment building. But first, we got to talk about the weather. Meteorologist Mark Strell is tracking everything. I feel like, Mark, there's nothing in between. It's either cool, there's storms, or heat that we're going to be expecting in the next few days.
It sounds like appliances I've had. They're either, full-on freezing or not cool enough, right? That's kind of the way the weather is. Today, we're cool and we're damp. We've got a little bit of light rainfall across the North Shore, very light drizzle up towards O'Hare, in through the Northwest Expressway, a little bit of light rainfall downtown. It's been pretty quiet so far. We could see a little pocket or two of drizzle, but most of the rainfall has been well down to our south, in fact, south of Kankakee. And it is moving off to the east into parts of east central Indiana. Right now, we do have cloud cover. We're kind of stuck in the clouds. We will be for most of the evening. It will be cool this evening as well. We're in the 60s right now. I'm going to stay there. Overnight low temperatures staying pretty close to where we are at the moment. Temperatures 63 degrees at the lakeshore, 62 at O'Hare, 65 degrees at Midway. And we've got a couple of 70-degree readings, but not many around this hour. But tomorrow, we're back up into the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. After that, we are cranking on the heat. Mid-80s on Sunday and 90s as far as the eye can see after that. I'll talk more about that coming up in a moment.
All right, Mark, looking forward to that. All right, the investigation into a fatal boat crash on Lake Michigan is just getting started. So this happened late last night in Monroe Harbor. We found out one woman died. Her name is Johanna Gregory. She was 26 years old. The Chicago Fire Department says 14 people were on 2 boats in the Monroe Harbor overnight when they ran into each other. 4 other people also got hurt. So authorities said those 4 were riding the same boat as Gregory. And as of now, no charges have been filed. But authorities want to remind you of a few things as you're heading into the weekend and ahead of a busy holiday weekend on the water next week.
We want to make sure everybody, boat safety, enjoys everything that goes out there. Make sure you have life preservers out there. If you're unfamiliar with the area, know the navigational waterways. Make sure you have your running lights on there so that everybody can see everything that's going on at night.
Repeating there, and you can find more boat safety tips on our website. That's fox32chicago.com. A 20-year-old from Chicago is one of 8 people charged in an alleged plot to attack a UFC event at the White House. Prosecutors say he also tried to hide what he knew. So prosecutors say Alexander Eniguez Mercado allegedly ran signal group chats where members planned a violent attack on June 14th. So court documents say the day before the event, an FBI agent called him. Mercado allegedly denied plans to travel to Washington, D.C., and then he allegedly deleted signal off his phone. So prosecutors say that wiped out evidence investigators really needed. So federal prosecutors charged him with obstruction of justice, and he faces up to 20 years in prison. He made his first court appearance in Chicago this afternoon. All right, we have a follow-up tonight to that high-rise fire in Edgewater where someone jumped from the 5th floor. This happened just before 6 a.m. near Sheridan and Berwyn. So that person was hanging from a 5th floor window before they jumped and landed in the mezzanine area. So Chicago firefighters said the victim is in serious condition in the hospital. The person is conscious and speaking, but we still don't know how this fire started. All right, imagine waking up to rats chewing on your face. That's what happened to this man from Rogers Park. He says he's one of 60 people living in a rent-controlled building, and he said they've been dealing with a rodent problem for months. Leslie Marino joins us live in Studio 32. Leslie, this is quite a story that you're working on here.
Yeah, hard to believe. You know, as soon as we arrived, you could smell it. I mean, conditions in this man's apartment were so bad, we had to do the interview outdoors. So you can just imagine what this man has been dealing with, you know, eating, sleeping, living with these rodents for months now. Take a look at these images here on your screen. This is Heriberto Hernandez. He says this happened about 3 weeks ago. So he was sleeping after a long day at work and woke up to a rat nibbling and chewing on his face. He says he grabbed the rat and threw it. The tenant says his garden level apartment on Damon Avenue Avenue has been infested with rats for months, and neither the management company nor the owners have resolved the issue. The tenant says he has had to eat, sleep, and live with these rats in his home for months now, often having to kill them on his own. He is one of over 60 tenants who are members of a union. The tenants have been fighting rent increases and evictions, which they say began after the new owner took over. Hernandez says he had to go to the hospital to get checked out. He was given antibiotics and a rabies shot. With no insurance, he says his bills are piling up and he's now seeking compensation for his injuries.
Sí, estaba durmiendo en la noche porque yo voy a trabajar al centro.
I was sleeping at night. I work in the city, and I was really tired. I went to sleep and they attacked me around 3 a.m. I felt them on my face and threw them off of my face. I went to the hospital. They checked out my eye because it's still red. It's still not fully healed.
We did speak with a maintenance contractor who was there this morning. You know, he says the owners have been trying to resolve the issue, but he says tenants are only being vocal now because rent is going up. He also says some of the tenants in this apartment complex also have a difficult time keeping their units clean. So he says that doesn't help the situation. We have reached out to both the owners and the apartment complex, and we are still waiting to hear back. Brett.
This poor man here, he's got to be traumatized a bit. Number one, how did this guy not wake up? And number two, is he looking to move?
I know, that's exactly what we were wondering. I mean, again, he says he had a very long day at work. He was tired. He just went to sleep and he woke up and this is what he woke up to. So, I mean, I don't know. Some people are just heavy sleepers. And as far as moving, you know, unfortunately, he says it's very difficult. This apartment that he's in, it's rent controlled. So it's very expensive for him to move, and he is working with that union. So he's hoping that by speaking to us and working with the union, there can hopefully be some change soon.
Hopefully somebody sees his story and helps this man. Leslie, thank you for following the story. All right, we had a big decision from the Supreme Court this week, and some groups in Chicago are not happy about this. All right, we got to talk about the ruling on deportations. The Supreme Court decision allows the Trump administration to end temporary legal protections for migrants from Haiti and Syria. So you may know this program known as Temporary Protected Status, or TPS. This allows people from countries facing things like war or natural disaster to live and work here in the United States. So this ruling could lead to the deportations of about 330,000 people from Haiti and 3,800 from Syria. But some immigrant rights advocates in Chicago say this decision sends a dangerous and toxic message to people who are looking for help right here in the U.S.
It's allowing this administration to say you are not welcome here, regardless of what the immigration laws and regardless of what international law provide. And particularly in the context of this current administration, if you're someone from a non-white country.
Advocates say they're going to keep organizing, informing affected families, and push for what they're calling lasting solutions. And the Supreme Court also cleared the way for the White House to potentially revive an immigration policy that was used at the U.S.-Mexico border. You may remember this. It was first under President Barack Obama and then expanded under President Donald Trump. So under federal law, people can seek asylum only after arriving in or being physically present in the U.S. So the policy lets border officials temporarily stop people from getting into border crossings when facilities were full, preventing that asylum process from being triggered. All right, Chicago's Pride Parade is 2 days away, and Chicago police want to make sure everybody is going to be safe who is going to be attending the event. So Chicago police and other organizations talked about their safety plans today. So the parade starts Sunday at 11 a.m. It goes from Uptown to Lincoln Park. Chicago police said there will be both visible and plainclothes police officers to monitor what's happening before, during, and after the parade. So if you are going to be going to the parade, you won't be able to bring a number of things. That includes alcohol, coolers, large folding chairs, and drones. So police said if anyone becomes violent, they will be punished.
Violence, vandalism, or criminal activity will not be tolerated, and we will take enforcement swiftly and appropriately. We encourage everybody to come out and celebrate safely. We ask you to celebrate responsibly, be cognizant of your neighborhood, the neighborhoods, and the neighbors in this community.
Chicago police is also asking anyone who is attending the parade that if you see anything suspicious, you got to say something. And before the parade steps off into the weekend, we have a lot more to tell you about right here. We're going to be going over some of the street closures, and we're going to be speaking with some of this year's community grand marshals of the Pride Parade. Plus, group play for the World Cup is ending tonight in Seattle. We're going to take you there live, and there's a lot on the line. And a Chicago rapper wants to see another side of the city, one that doesn't include gangs or violence. We've got all those stories and more coming up in just a few minutes. Egypt and Iran will close out group play tonight in Seattle, and both teams want to advance to the knockout round. But off the field, there's ongoing tensions between Iran and the U.S. that continue to draw attention all over the world. Sarah Legre is live in Seattle. All right, Sarah, what's at stake?
Yeah, a ton of storylines here tonight, but let's talk about the high stakes here, Brett. First and foremost, Egypt, they're more so favored when we're looking at this group in particular in this match against Iran. Even a draw would allow them to hold on to that top spot here in Group G. But I will say, though, for Iran, if they do get a win tonight, they will be able to advance forward here in the knockout round. But not only that, they could even potentially secure that first place victory for this group.
Oh, Masraoui.
For the past few weeks, fans from all corners of the world have turned Seattle into a World Cup crossroads, and for some, a family affair.
That's my son, my nephew, my niece, my nephew.
Now the spotlight shifts to Egypt and Iran as they close out group play, and fans on both sides are feeling the pressure.
I say we're about 110% confident about it.
We love our Egyptian brothers. My best friend's Egyptian, but I've already told them I'm happy to wipe all their tears tomorrow.
Tonight, tonight could help decide not just who moves on, but who finishes out on top of Group G.
This is a historic game because if Iran wins, it'll be the first time that they make it out of this stage.
The match that was drawing attention beyond the pitch, Seattle has dubbed the game its Pride Match, putting a spotlight on two countries where LGBTQ rights remain heavily restricted.
Unfortunately, there is still the need to celebrate because it is not recognized everywhere around the world, as it shows with the two countries coming in.
The game also comes against the backdrop of continued tensions between Iran and the U.S. Protesters have been showing up outside other World Cup matches, calling for change in Iran.
As divided as they may be on certain issues, have collectively gone through so much in the past several months. So I know that this is a big moment of unity for them, and not just for our community, but also globally.
But on the field, the situation is simple. Egypt enters tonight at the top of Group G, and a simple draw could be enough to keep them there.
It means a lot to us because we went all the way 8 years ago when they made it to Russia. Now we're following them here, and we were so excited about the first win and ready for win number 2.
Yep. And so, Brett, as we close out this group play essentially tonight, we also know Egypt and Iran fans keeping a very close eye on another game happening simultaneously, Belgium and New Zealand. They're actually playing at the same time, and the outcome of that match will also determine who ultimately comes out on top here tonight. We have a lot of fans looking forward to what's ahead. Yes, dealing with some weather factors here tonight, but it looks like things should clear up by match time. Back to you, Brett.
Sarah Allegre live in Seattle. Of course, you can see those games right here on Fox Chicago. Thank you for that, Sarah. All right, in Iran, the ceasefire is getting its first major stress test. Iranian forces hit a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz with a drone. So the ship is from Singapore and was apparently using a navigation lane too close to U.S. forces, which prompted Iran to attack them. Now, some experts say this is an indication the Iranians plan to extend their control over the strait.
Because it provides them deterrence. And we've seen the evidence of that deterrence here during the war. And it gives them leverage and control in the region.
And Iran might also be stepping back from another provision of the ceasefire agreement, which allows the UN to inspect its nuclear facilities. International monitors report little progress here, but back at home, the Pentagon is working hard to sell Congress on an $88 billion supplemental funding request for the war. In Northwest Indiana, hundreds of people got together to help the community clean up from these severe storms. You see the damage over here. Hard to believe. 2 weeks ago, an EF2 tornado damaged this area, and it could take weeks to get everything back to normal. But today, the Red Cross was out there to help. They handed out gloves and rakes to people who live there. And some students from Andrew High School were also there to help.
We're all just trying to help out and give back after the tragic event that happened to the school.
I've never seen a smaller community feel so large.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bunch of people from neighboring states, neighboring counties, people who, I mean, I don't live directly in Maryville, but I work around here. And, like, this is a place that I call home. I've lived in Lake County my whole life. Everything's going to be okay. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting there and being part of the effort to make people's days a little bit easier and take some of the burden away of knowing, like, hey, your neighbors are here for you.
Even in some of these crucial moments here, it brings out the best in everyone and shows why we are all one of the same mission here. Everybody helping each other out, getting some relief. You know, they're getting some relief with all the severe weather that we've had. Unfortunately, while they're trying to get back to normal, somebody's turning up the heat. So certainly this could be potentially dangerous conditions looking at the heat and the humidity.
We're pretty good for about the next 36 hours, but you're right. By Monday, we're back up into the 90s, and we are not only just talking about 90, 91 degrees, we're talking about 95, 96, 97 degrees. So, yeah, the heat is definitely going to be cranked. That is just only half of the battle there. We've got temperatures right now. Yeah, take advantage of some of these cooler readings. 62 at O'Hare, 65 degrees at Midway. If you like the cooler air, you know what? This is about the only chance you're going to have to enjoy it. There's some rainfall that is down to our south. That rainfall south of Kankakee now heading over into parts of east central Indiana. And not that far to the north, there's actually clear skies. A little bit of sunshine, and that sunshine includes some slightly warmer conditions. Temperatures pushing down in the 60s overnight tonight. We're not really falling all that far tonight. We're in the 60s now, going down to the lower 60s, down to around 60 to 61 degrees. Mainly cloudy skies, but a few breaks later on. And tomorrow we'll enjoy some sunshine, unlike what we're seeing today. As you can see, the cameras are just completely socked in, especially if you get a couple hundred feet off of the deck. We're going to continue to see that cloud cover here for the early evening hours. And then some sunshine returning tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. But again, the heat cranking by early next week. We'll go through it day by day coming up.
We're going to be ready for it. This was a big year for tourism in Chicago last year. The city welcomed nearly 57 million people. That's more than 1.5 million than the year before. So Choose Chicago says all those visitors brought in a record $21.5 billion for the city of Chicago. And Chicago wants to keep welcoming back visitors. That's why the city launched a new beautification campaign today. It's called Keep Chicago Clean. So they want everyone to work together to cut down on littering and just overall waste.
Whether you are a Chicago resident or you're visiting the city for the first time, you have an important role to play in keeping Chicago clean. By picking up your trash and disposing of your recycling in blue carts, you take a big step towards making sure that our streets, parks, and our schools, our libraries and businesses are able to look their very best. These spaces are for everyone, and it's going to include everyone. These spaces are for you to enjoy your picnics, baseball games, and just quiet time, being able to read and just enjoy the nature. They're for you to celebrate birthdays and graduations with friends, families, and family members and neighbors. They're spaces that you can feel proud of.
This campaign will run through the summer, and you're going to see some public service announcements at the airports, along at the train stations and the bus stations. The Chicago Bulls have some new minority owners. Lucas Walton, heir of the Walmart fortune, and his wife Samantha just bought into the Bulls. So the Bulls said in a press release the Reinsdorf family still holds the controlling interest of the team, and both the team and the Wirtz family will have controlling interest in the United Center and the 1901 project. All right, Across America is up next. We're going to take you to Utah, where a wild animal got just a little too comfortable in somebody's apartment. And leading the Chicago Pride Parade this weekend as community grand marshals. Who are they? Some Chicago judges. We're going to have some of them live in studio, and we're going to talk to them in just a few minutes. Rescue workers are going through piles of rubble in northern Venezuela. There were back-to-back earthquakes. One was a 7.2, the other was a 7.5. They were the strongest to hit the country in more than a century, and it killed hundreds of people and injured thousands. One estimate puts the number of people impacted by this at nearly 7 million. And across America, we are starting tonight in Utah. The largest wildfire in the U.S. is burning as we speak. So we're talking about the Cottonwood fire that started in the southern part of the state Monday. Take a look at this. It has reached nearly 111 square miles, and it is not contained. Utah Governor Spencer J. Cox is now restricting fireworks ahead of the 4th of July holiday and declaring a state of emergency. Seeing that explosion on a highway in Arizona. A car exploded on that state highway, and part of the road was temporarily closed after the fire. And then it started a brush fire. So that brush fire burned about 30 acres before crews were able to knock it down. But we don't know what started that car fire, and fortunately nobody got hurt. All right, I'm not sure how hard this is to find a giraffe in Texas, but it took a lot longer than you may think. This is Gracie the giraffe, who escaped a ranch 2 weeks ago but has been found safe. A helicopter spotted her this morning in a heavily wooded area 4 miles out from the ranch. So we found out she should be home in the next day or so. All right, imagine waking up, going to the kitchen for a cup of coffee. Everything just seems normal until you notice, hey, I got a cat there. But that's not a house cat. That's a big kitty. Sheriff's Department in Utah says this bobcat snuck into an apartment, and we found from local reports that say the bobcat got in through a dog door, just made himself right at home, sitting near a small cat tree. See, there's still cats at the end of the day. But deputies joke this is really a good reminder that even the wildlife likes your apartment sometimes. A bobcat left on its own, and wildlife officials are working to remove that bobcat from the area. In Tennessee, a couple of mini horses led police on an unusual chase. The horses escaped from their home in Memphis, and they weren't ready to go back as you're seeing them go through that neighborhood. Some officers thought it was pretty funny, though, when they were following. So those animals ran across lawns. They ended up running down the street. They were eventually wrangled and returned to their owner. All right, still ahead right here at 5 o'clock. The biggest Hello Kitty cafe in the world is now open. And it's right on the Magnificent Mile. We're going to take you inside. Plus, the Pride Parade starts Sunday, and we're going to have some of the community grand marshals in studio to talk about it. And a Chicago rapper just signed a major record deal, and we're going to show you what she's doing and why she wants other rappers to follow her lead. We got those stories and more when we come back.
When you're home.
She's not gang affiliated. She doesn't call herself a drill rapper. And she says it's time the world sees another side of Chicago. Glizzy Glow speaks with Tia Ewing for a conversation about violence, music, and changing the narrative.
Most people know her by one name.
Nobody really know my government name.
Glizzy Glow. Millions know the music. But few know the story behind the microphone, before the stages, before the record deal. Just 4 months ago, she signed with Interscope Records.
I just want to thank everybody for being there with me on this journey. It's been a long time coming. Thank you for believing in me.
It wasn't an easy road to get here. The entrepreneur and hairstylist turned rapper was raised by her grandmother in a neighborhood where violence often makes headlines. But inside her home, there was always another lesson.
My grandmother's house was the house that all the kids in the neighborhood, if they didn't have food at home, they could come there and eat. Later on, probably in the next year or two, I want to open a Boys and Girls Club.
Glizzy Glow remembers growing up, but she had to do it fast. She became a mother at just 17. Instead of giving up on her future, she says motherhood gave her a reason to chase it.
It was hard, but I finished school. I went to college, so it was just like I really stuck it out. Looking at the bigger picture, like, okay, I got kids now, so I really got a reason to be everything that I want to be.
At 19, she was building businesses, raising 2 children, then walked away from everything to chase the dream that scared her most, music.
And I just was like, okay, this is my dream, this is my passion, this is what I wake up every day and be happy with. So I'm gonna just trust the process. And that's when I knew, like, this is what I really wanted to do.
Chicago rap has often been defined by tragedy, shootings, arrests, and a generation of artists lost far too soon. Glizzy Glow says she refuses to be another chapter in that story.
I feel like me being one of those artists that's not gang affiliated and that's neutral with everybody, I feel like I'm spreading that positivity and love in the city to where when I make music, it brings good energy. So I'm just really trying to shine a light on Chicago outside of what they call drill music.
Some people say, just black people influencing the culture with bad stuff. And see, that's why the kids are following that culture.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Everything starts at home. Because, okay, you can't have everything from these kids, or sometimes music that people make is just for entertainment and it just end up escalating to other things. But I feel like a lot of this stuff started with the parent.
Glizzy Glow doesn't have to imagine what many Chicago kids are up against. She lived it.
Have you had friends to pass away?
I did.
The rapper says she can't change where she came from, but she hopes to change where the next generation is going.
I want to advise all the kids to stay in school. It is cool to be in school. That's the best advice I can give because you can never be too educated.
Tia Ewing, Fox Chicago.
Going into the weekend, I feel like we just can't ease into anything. It's either one extreme to the other. Might even feel like a completely different season out there, especially as I'm just taking a look outside right now. It's looking just a little foggy right now, but everything is going to change. It just seems like within a few hours.
We go from really springtime into the dog days of August within about 36 hours. Right now, we do have the clouds. We do have a little bit of light rainfall. So there's some drizzle, but for the most part, we're not looking for anything really major overnight tonight. In fact, by tomorrow, it looks like a gorgeous day. We've got sunshine inbound for tomorrow. We'll see some blue skies by the afternoon. Temperatures just about perfect by most standards, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. It's after that. That's when the heat starts to get cranked on. Winds pretty light here this hour. The winds will be coming in off the lake, and those lake winds have been offering some clouds here that have been pretty low across parts of Chicago, and that's why a lot of the cams are just blocked out. But this is what we're looking at all the way through the 10th of July. Red splashed all over the map. You know what that means? More heat on the way.
Got to brace ourselves there. But the largest Hello Kitty cafe in the world just opened on the Magnificent Mile, and the lines to get in were just a little hectic this morning. Some people got there hours before it opened, and we caught up with the first customer who was in line.
I felt kind of special, actually. I didn't think I'd be first. I actually thought people would be here before me, but it feels really good, actually. This is the first time I've ever waited to camp or anything for something, so I feel pretty special. And I've been obsessed with Hello Kitty probably since I was a kid. 100%. I had the pillows, I had the PJs, keychains, you name it, I had it.
Played Hello Kitty Island Adventure, maybe? Well, you know, this cafe is 8,000 square feet, and they have a Riverwalk patio seating. So there's also a room just for an afternoon tea experience. So the grand opening celebration is happening through Sunday. The Chicago Pride Parade is back on Sunday, and if you're planning to go, officials are encouraging you to use public transportation. We've all seen this before. Metro is adding service to help you just avoid the traffic. So they're going to be adding more trains that will run Sunday on the Union Pacific North Line and West Lines. And for the first time ever, Metro will have its own float in this year's Pride Parade. The parade starts at 11 a.m. on Sunday, and you might want to take the train because there's going to be a lot of street closures for the parade, so we're not going to go over every street that's going to be closed, but here's just a few that you will not be able to park on. Both sides of Fremont from Irving to Sheridan. Same with Broadway from Irving to Waveland, so they'll start at 2 a.m. on Sunday, and they're going to last through 8 p.m. that night. So you won't be able to park on some of those streets until Monday morning, so keep that in mind, and that includes both sides of Addison from Broadway to Sheffield. All right, we have more to tell you about the Pride Parade, including some special guests who are going to be grand marshals of this year's Pride Parade. All right, we're going to come back here. We're going to be speaking with 3 Cook County judges. When the Pride Parade steps off Sunday, the Alliance of Illinois Judges, which is an organization of LGBT plus Cook County judges, are going to be leading the way as community grand marshals, and we have 3 of them right here in studio. Cecilia Horan, Steffi Miller, James Derrico Jr., all Cook County Circuit Court judges. Thank you all for being here today. I'm going to start with you, Cecilia, and then we can go down the road This has never happened before that you've been Grand Marshals. What does this mean to you?
Well, this is the first time the parade organizers have invited nominations for Grand Marshal. Before, I assume somebody picked the Grand Marshal, but this year they accepted nominations. I was the applicant. I nominated the Alliance of Illinois Judges, and we were selected for this honor, and we're so thrilled about it.
How do you feel, Stephanie?
It's an incredible honor, especially given the other Grand Marshals that we are with, Tracy Bame, and the other nominees. They are trailblazers, and our organization is just honored to be a part of it as well.
How about you, James?
Pretty exciting. I mean, I've been here since the 80s, been to more parades than I can remember count. Never dreamed for years that it would be the Alliance or just judges, particularly as Grand Marshals. So it's pretty amazing. It tells you no matter what's going on, things do improve and times do change.
Yeah, and with those changes, you guys all started your law careers in the 1980s and 90s, and you don't see judges as the Grand Marshal. You don't see that every day. What do you want people to know when they see you on Sunday? What's your message?
I think most importantly that, you know, if you can see it, you can be it. So now they're going to see it. So I think for a lot of young people, I think that the diversity of our group and the fact that we are up front will resonate and send the message that, again, everyone out there, young and old, particularly the young people, can strive to be where we are.
Yeah, especially because getting into law wasn't always so welcoming for the gay community. Did you guys find that when you guys went into law?
Certainly. And as a member of the Latino community, same concept. It has always been a barrier, certainly, along the way. And as time has gone on, those barriers have been broken both for the LGBTQ plus community and other groups. And I think it's important for the community as a whole to see we're just like everyone else. We're parents, we're spouses, we're everybody's children and everything else. And I think it's important that the community as a whole sees that. And they'll see that as we march on the parade.
Yeah, Cecilia, and how did you see this evolve right when you ended up passing the bar, became a lawyer, and then became a judge? How did you see this change over the years?
Oh, boy. Well, I wasn't particularly out when I was a young lawyer, and it took me a long time to come out. And but, you know, it's like shedding a heavy coat. It's, you know, just a different way of living, a different way of appreciating life, to be able to be out. And that's the theme of the parade, free to be proud. So we brought you a gift. Can I give it to you?
You got me a gift.
A small gift. This is the the United States Constitution, along with the Declaration of Independence. And as judges, you know, when you go to the parade, there are a lot of people who throw out beads or candy or other things, trinkets to the crowd, and the crowd loves it. This group is giving out pocket-sized copies of the Declaration of Independence. So here you go.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to accept this gift right here, because it is. You're getting something that, because it's so timely with the anniversary, the 250th birthday of America here. You guys have seen a lot of growth and a lot of progress since you guys went into law. Where does it need to go? Where do you guys, you know, not crossing any ethical lines here, but where do you think this needs to go? What are we missing here? Should we start with you, Stephanie?
Okay. Well, and you made a good, not crossing any ethical boundaries or anything. But certainly, I think it's important that the public sees that, again, judges are people too, and we are a part of society. We hold, as judges, a neutral position. We are there to make decisions, and we uphold exactly what you're holding in your hand, the Constitution, and this is what it's based on. And it's important that people see that and see us in that role.
And James, you dedicated a lot of your time to community service, mentoring youth right here. Is your work continuing? How has that evolved, and where do you see it growing in the future?
Well, there are a number of limitations as a judge, but I can be out in the community. I can tutor. I can, you know, and just have my presence felt, which I think is very important. You know, as an African American, it's very important to just be seen. And and with respect to the last thing you said, I think it's also important that people understand change is not inevitable, and it has to be constantly nurtured.
Well, it's going to be great to see you guys. And I was going to say, are you going to be right in the front of the parade on Sunday?
We'll miss the gaps.
So if you're going to be out there on Sunday, look out for these three judges, Cecilia, Stephanie, James, who are here. So thank you so much. And they're going to be handing out these books right here. It's all about knowing your rights on this weekend. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Well, you know, hopefully it's not going to literally rain on the parade this weekend. Of course, meteorologist Mark Strell, keeping an eye on that forecast. Hopefully it's not going to look like that on Sunday. We got also tracking the heat as well. I keep looking at the 2800 camera.
Yeah.
To quote David Lee Roth, I can barely see the road from the heat coming on. The heat is coming, but it looks like a little bit of fog and rain. It looks, at least that's the case on the camera.
Yeah, no heat today, no heat tomorrow, but by the time Monday rolls around, you'll be looking back to a day like today where it's comfortable in the 60s. And if not today, then certainly tomorrow. We've got temperatures back into the 70s. So here's a look at your forecast. And this is what we're looking at tomorrow. Really a near perfect day for most folks. Temperatures in the upper 70s across Chicago. It will be a little cooler at the lakefront with those temperatures around 70 degrees. And if you're looking for something a little warmer, upper 70s to around 80 degrees south and west of the city. So a little something for everybody. Today, Yeah, that's not much for anyone. We've got clouds and fog and 62 degrees. There's some light rainfall around the area, but it's mostly been light rainfall. Unfortunately, it's during drive time. Even light rainfall slows traffic down. North-northeast winds at 9 miles per hour. Dew points are still pretty decent considering the fog and the clouds. We're in the upper 50s this hour. Radar showing a little bit of rainfall up to the north, more significant rainfall south of Kankakee County. But the rest of the evening, couple of sprinkles, maybe a shower or two, but we continue to dry out as we go through the overnight hours. 63 at the lakeshore, low 60s elsewhere. Here's your forecast for the next couple of days. Saturday, near perfect, upper 70s, lots of sunshine, certainly by midday into the afternoon. On Sunday, partly cloudy skies. Now it's starting to warm up. Temperatures up to 85 degrees. And by Sunday night, I think you're going to start to feel some of the humidity move in as well. Monday, all bets are off, 93, sunshine as we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all in the 90s. And not even the kind, gentle 90s. We're talking about the mid and upper 90s. And that doesn't even factor in the humidity. Well, this evening, showers and thunderstorms down to our south. That'll be true into the early morning hours. And tomorrow, look at this, a little sunshine sneaking into Chicago with some clouds downstate. As we head towards Sunday, keep an eye on this warm front that's out to our west. That is the harbinger of some warmer temperatures rolling through Chicago and then locking in to Chicago here for the next several days, all week long, basically. 62 overnight tonight, not far from where we are now. 77 tomorrow, near perfect weather. Tomorrow, your 7-day forecast temperatures, 85, warming up on Sunday. Then we're 93 on Monday, 96 degrees on Tuesday, upper 90s. 98 on Wednesday, 97 degrees on Thursday. Maybe a relief from a shower late in the week. We'll see if that happens. 95 degrees on Friday. With the humidity, the heat index over 105 degrees. It's possible we could even hit 110. Stay tuned.
You've probably seen this dog that we're about to show you here. You know that time when you want something, when your other dog gets something and you don't get it and you feel left out? We've seen this video. There he is. Well, the dog has gone viral on social media. You might remember that jealous dog that's on the right-hand side. He's just looking.
Like, hey, where's my hot dog?
Well, come on.
Yeah.
He was staring at the other dog that got the hot dog at the Miami Marlins game. You saw ate a hot dog with its human. Well, now the other dog's owner says the team found them. You're seeing Jonah, the dog that didn't get a hot dog.
Aww.
His human said he knows that look, which is something he sees all the time. Like, hey, why don't you open that big box in the kitchen, give me some cheese or something like that. But, you know, Jonah's going to have his day, though. The Marlins are planning on hosting them for Jonah's very own VIP day. And within the last 2 hours, I found out through their social media, he's going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Marlins game. That's July 12th, and they're going to be playing the Cleveland Guardians. And they also gave him a goodie basket with all kinds of dog toys, including a dog toy that is shaped like a hot dog, which is what Jonah wanted in the first place. He just wanted to have his hot dog.
Yeah. How does a dog throw out the first pitch?
He just rolls it.
Just rolls it out. You know, it would be cooler if he just bit it, came over, dropped it on a home plate.
Air Bud can give Jonah some advice about throwing out the first pitch because Air Bud just does it all.
He does it all the time.
He does it all the time here. But I'm just so glad because we've all seen that look on our dog's face. You're just like, I just want to give him a hot dog. He felt left out.
You see that around the dining room table all the time. You know, the dogs there looking at you going, hey, I'd like some filet mignon too. I bet you would.
I would if they had, you know, those buttons where you get to control what the dog says. It's just hitting the button like hot dog, cookie, cheese, peanut butter.
You could train the dog to do that, yeah.
They're just going to be hitting these buttons. They just want treats all day. So no, I can't feed you treats all day. But Jonah and your human, congratulations to you. You're finally going to get your day at the ballpark in Miami. You know, Miami could be very, very hot. The heat is oppressive. The humidity is high. And it looks like in the next few days, we're going to be experiencing a little bit of that heat.
We will probably be warmer than Miami.
Wow.
And more humid than Miami, perhaps. We've got temperatures that are great tomorrow. Look at this, upper 70s. Not horrible on Sunday. Still pretty decent, although warming up to 85 degrees. And then comes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They all start with a 9. They start in the lower 90s on Monday and the mid 90s, and easily we'll have some numbers up into the upper 90s. That's not too far away from 100. I learned that in math class. But here's the deal. It's going to feel more like 105. Could feel more like 110 when you factor in the humidity. And yeah, the earliest we could find any relief from showers or thunderstorms will be at the very end of the 7-day forecast coming up next week. And if we do not see a distinct pattern change, which at this point is not a given, we could have this heat into the following week as well.
It always, why it's just, all right, earlier this week, you see people walking around the loop. Some of them have winter coats on. I don't understand it. I think that's a little too aggressive.
Little extreme.
But there's some people with some light jackets on, especially